This segment's going to be a bit of a weird one, because today we're going to be doing research on a popular conspiracy theory that most of you probably only know by name. At least I only knew by name for all the time I knew about it up until relatively recently. And that was until I just had this twinge to just, like, look into it and find out what the fuck it was. And when I looked it up on YouTube, what I was hoping to find were some trustworthy education, edutainment YouTubers that I know already who'd covered it and made some, like, breakdown videos of it explaining the conspiracy theory. That stuff's common with stuff like the moon landing hoax conspiracy theory types and, like, anti-vaxxers and flat earthers, etc. But I could not find a single trustworthy YouTuber who had covered the Bohemian Grove conspiracy. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to go read on it myself then. So I decided to go to Wikipedia, a fairly trustworthy source most of the time, and I decided to read up on it. And I quickly started to realize this might not be as much of a conspiracy theory as I thought it was. I think this is just, like, real and known. Like, not even like a undercover secret thing. But it's like a really popular conspiracy theory that you hear Nazis and conservatives talking about being like some Jewish global domination shit. But when I read about it, it sounds way more like some, like, rich white man conservative, like, dark money meetings, more than like anything like that. Let me explain it. Bohemian Grove is a restricted 2,700 acre, 1,100 HA, I don't know what that is supposed to be, campground at 20601 Bohemian Avenue in Monte Rio, California in the United States, belonging to a private San Francisco-based gentlemen's club known as the Bohemian Club. In mid-July each year, Bohemian Grove hosts more than two-week encampment of some of the most prominent men in the world. Keyword, men. The Bohemian Club's all-male membership includes artists and musicians, as well as many prominent business leaders, government officials, former U.S. presidents, senior media executives, and people of power. Members may invite guests to the Grove. Guests may be invited to the Grove for either the Spring Jinx in June or the main July encampment. Bohemian Club members can schedule private day-use events at the Grove anytime it is not being used for club-wide purposes, and they are allowed at these times to bring spouses, family, and friends, although female and minor guests must be off the property by 9 or 10 p.m. Already, when I was reading this, I was like, what the f***? This is definitely weird, but this is more along the lines of the kind of shit conservatives would be getting up to than, like, lefty Ivory Coast or Ivory Tower West Coast liberals would be getting into. Let's read more. After 40 years of membership. This is starting to sound a lot more like a cult than like a like club. You know, the more that we read. Is it on Rational? Guys, this is just normal Wikipedia I'm reading from. I'm not reading from like crazy conservatoid Wikipedia or anything like that. I'm just reading the Wikipedia page for this. After 40 years of membership, the men earn Old Guard status, giving them reserved seating at the Grove's daily talks, as well as other perks. Former U.S. President Herbert Hoover was inducted into the Old Guard on March 4th, 1953. He had joined the club exactly 40 years prior. Redwood branches from the Grove were flown to the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York City, where they were used to decorate a banquet room for the celebration. In his acceptance speech, Hoover compared the honor of the Old Guard status to his frequent role as veteran counselor to later presidents. The club motto is "Weaving spiders come not here," which implies that outside concerns and business deals, or networking, are to be left outside. When gathered in groups, Bohemians usually adhere to the injunction. Although discussion of business often occurs between pairs of members, important political and business deals have been developed at the Grove. The Grove is particularly famous for a Manhattan Project planning meeting that took place there in September 1942, which subsequently led to the atomic bomb. Those attending this meeting, including included Ernst Lawrence, J. Robert Oppenheimer, the S1 executive committee heads such as the presidents of Harvard, Yale, and Princeton, along with the representatives of Standard Oil and General Electric, as well as various military officials. At the time, Oppenheimer was not an S1 member, though Lawrence and Oppenheimer hosted the meeting. I think you guys understand why when I read this, I was like, what the fuck? I need to read this on stream. What do you guys make of this so far? No, that member list is public. It's not as like, the thing about it is that it's not like a super secretive thing, except for certain events. There are certain events they do that are very secretive, and that's what we'll be getting to in a moment. Grove members take particular pride in this event and often relate the story to new attendees. Other behavior at the campground has led to numerous claims and even some parody in popular culture. One example was President Richard Nixon's comments on May 13, 1971, tape recording talking about upper-class San Franciscans, the Bohemian Grove, which I attend from time to time. It is the most F-slurry goddamn thing you could ever imagine with that San Francisco crowd. So I guess that's where the right-wing hate for this and, like, the conspiracies about it being, like, Jewish started, was Nixon saying it is the most F-slurry thing that he's ever seen. That's actually really funny. The tradition of a summer encampment was established 6 years after the Bohemian Club was formed in 1872. Henry Harry Edwards, a stage actor and founding member, I honestly don't care about its founding, I'm going to be completely honest. Membership and operation. The Bohemian Club is a private club. Only active members and their guests may visit. Guests have been known to include politicians and notable figures from other countries. Particularly during the midsummer encampment, the number of guests is strictly limited due to the small size of the facilities. Camp valets. Camp valets are responsible for the operation of the individual camps. The head valets are akin to general managers at a resort, club, restaurant, or hotel. Service staff include female workers whose presence at the Grove is limited to daylight hours in central areas close to the main gate. Male workers may be housed at the Grove within the boundaries of the camp to which they are assigned or in peripheral service areas. High-status workers stay in small private quarters, but most are housed in rustic bunkhouses. Facilities. The main encampment area consists of 160 acres of old-growth redwood trees, over 1,000 years old. How much you want to bet that the biggest tree in the world, which is a redwood tree named, like, Titan or some shit like that, but no one knows the location of it and it's illegal to go to its location? How much you want to bet it's on this property or some shit like that? How much you want to bet this insane, weird, like, misogynistic rich boy cult in the mountains? It's either like misogynistic or gay as fuck. That's the thing. And Richard Nixon did say it was very gay. Maybe they want all the women gone so it can all be boys. They just want it to be all guys, all dudes. That also wouldn't surprise me. Or both, yeah. I mean, gay dudes can be pretty misogynistic because at that point, like, what's the point of pretending to like women when... I'm sorry. I couldn't resist making that joke. I couldn't resist the joke. But unironically, though, there are a ton of gay dudes who think that way. They're like, what point do I have in, like, pretending to like women? You know, like, there are a fair amount of gay guys that are like that. Women Wednesday and Twink Tuesday? True. Yeah. Security. The Bohemian Grove is protected by a sophisticated security team year-round. The Bohemian Club employs ex-military personnel to help secure the area. They use high-end security equipment including thermal night vision cameras, motion detectors, and vibration-sensing alarm systems. The level of security is particularly heightened during the time periods that members are on site. During these times, the local sheriff's office, California Highway Patrol, and, if warranted by the guest list, the United States Secret Service help to secure the areas and roads surrounding the encampment. In 2019, the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors informed the club that 2019 would be the last year they provided law enforcement security. Despite the high level of security present, there have been numerous high-profile successful infiltrations of the Bohemian Grove. In the summer of 1980, Rick Gloger gained entrance to the Grove with the help of an employee and posed as a worker during 2 weekends of the annual encampment. His efforts, the first magazine reporting from the inside the Grove, were published in the August 1981 issue of Mother Jones, around the same time. ABC Evening News aired a special report on Bohemian Grove. In the summer of 1989, Spy magazine writer Philip Weiss spent 7 days in the camp posing as a guest, which led to his November 1989 article Inside the Bohemian Grove. He was eventually discovered and arrested for trespassing. Well, I like how they can get you after the fact for that. Jesus. On July 15, 2000, Alex Jones and his cameraman Mike Hansen clandestinely entered Bohemian Grove and shot footage of the cremation of care ceremony. Jones claimed it was a ritual sacrifice. From the footage, documentary filmmaker John Ronson produced the episode The Satanic Shadowy Elite, in which he characterizes the proceedings as an overgrown frat party, which Jones produced dark secrets inside the Bohemian Grove, describing what he said were satanic rituals. This is a real thing, though, that they do. It's where they burn an effigy as part of the event, like a Burning Man style thing. The Cremation of Care is an annual ritual production written, produced, and performed by and for members of the Bohemian Club. It is staged at the Bohemian Grove near Monte Rio, California, in front of a 40-foot tall image of an owl at a small artificial lake and amid a old growth grove of redwood trees. The dramatic performance is presented on the first night of the annual encampment as an allegorical banishing of worldly cares for the club members and to present symbolically the salvation of the trees by the club. But the secretive nature of the Bohemians and the political power of some of its members have been criticized. So, okay. Do I think there's some satanic worship shit going on? Obviously not. Do I think that this is probably like bordering on a cult and a extremely exclusive group of rich, powerful people that come together for a getaway in the California mountains to basically like plan out among themselves how the next like however many years of the future are going to go for the rest of society because they are the people who run society? Yes. The one thing about conspiracy theory ideas that has always had a shred of truth is the idea that powerful people typically have a vested shared interest in maintaining power. The problem is, from that basis, they go insane with it. I think this here is a perfect example of a conspiracy theory, of, if you even want to call it that actually has some level of grounding if you don't go as far as, like, Alex Jones with the bizarre, like, satanic ritual claims. I don't think it's a satanic ritual. I think it's a bunch of preppy, wealthy people who want to feel like they have what the right describes. Like, if I'm being honest, if I was a rich, powerful person, I'd want to feel like I was part of a cabal of rich, powerful people that decides everything. And that's probably what this is. A big LARP for rich, powerful people to feel like they are what the right says they are. Which is just a very bizarre thing to exist, but I don't know. This had been my, like, little bizarre hyperfixation for a little while now, so I thought I'd share it with all you guys.